I face a lot of resistance with letting go of some things that were a part of my previous life.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's, in your opinion, any level of consequence to things that we do individually or others do, or if it really is just about the attraction going forward and being in vibrational alignment with what's coming.
Yes,
that is
the second. Because you never get it done and you can't get it wrong. And every step along the way, we're going to talk a lot about this today in every way we can. You have taken the path of least resistance. You've been in a situation where these were the choices, and your inner being is guiding you to those choices. So sometimes your inner being guided you to a choice that was the path of least resistance then, that now isn't the path of least resistance. And so when you regurgitate it now and try to get a reading on it, you get a different answer because the conditions are different. You're hearing that exactly the way we are intending it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going up the emotional scale. When I had the attachments to what was occurring or unbecoming,
Yes.
then I had a reaction at one level, and then as I've let go of certain aspects of that, the reaction changes as I go forward.
But there's something else that we want to give you. Everything you said there is exactly right. There's something else we want to give you, and that is, it doesn't matter what has been. And what has been, you won't keep having those recurring vibrational attachments to them if you don't keep thinking about them. Well, it's not easy to not think about things that were big, that were traumatic, or that were important. It's not easy to not think about them. But the reason that it isn't easy for most people to not think about them is because they're trying not to think about them, which is the same thing as thinking about them. So the answer is you got to think about something else. You've got to fill your now with enough things that call your attention. So distraction really is the name of the game. You've got to distract yourself from what you don't want, because there's no such thing as no in a attraction-based universe. This is only about inclusion. So you include whatever you're thinking about, and that's what feels like a vicious circle for so many of you. You don't want to think about that thing that you're thinking about, but you're thinking about it, and you don't want to think about it, and law of attraction just gives you more to think about. And you want to say, damn you, law of attraction, couldn't you give me a break? And we want to say, yes, while you sleep. While you sleep, you'll get that break. So when you wake up in the morning, that's critical to starting something new. Critical is too urgent of sounding word. What we really mean to say is it's a poignant, powerful new step in a better direction when you first wake up, because your momentum did subside. The vibration is where you last left it, but the momentum subsided. Can you hear the difference? The momentum subsided. The vibration is where you last left it. And now you can think some thoughts that will eventually alter that vibration. You can completely deactivate vibrations within you. It's sort of like this. Pretend that you are a radio transmitting station, and there are 24 hours in the day. So there's only 24 hours of programming every day that you can offer. And there's way more than 24 hours a day of programming of people who want you to put them on the air. But you can't put them all on the air because there's only 24 hours a day. So you choose what you put on the air. And what you put on the air equals your point of attraction, because your point of attraction is about what you're broadcasting. Ooh. Isn't that nice to know? So you just put on the air what you want to broadcast. You just put the things on the air that feel good. You just fill up that broadcasting time with what feels good to you. And after a while, that other stuff will become so inactive that it won't creep in ever. It'll go away. It'll be non-existent.
Loses the momentum. Yeah.
It loses its momentum, and in time you replace it with active vibrations that become so dominant that what you know becomes different than what you knew. It's great fun to be here with you while we're having leading edge conversation. Yeah,
it is fabulous. Thank you.
Enough? Really good.
Thank
really
you.
good. Yeah.
I do what you recommended. In the morning, I set my clock to go off so that I have time to bask. And I got that from Esther. I look forward to it, and it works. I almost feel like the world is going on, and I'm becoming less knowledgeable because I spend more time doing this. And I need a little bit...
less knowledgeable about?
Just stuff. I don't watch TV and the news, and a lot of stuff that's going on I don't really care about. And I feel like I'm becoming less... Here's what I think is going to happen. I'm becoming less knowledgeable about stuff and facts, but I'm waiting and wanting to just have access to the universal fairies to give me the information that I need.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, I don't want to go too far with that. And
well, first ask yourself about how you feel, but next, you see, most people would choose negative momentum over no momentum because you want to feel motion. You want to feel like something's happening. But when you compare positive momentum with negative momentum, there's just no contest whatsoever. And so as you keep reaching for alignment first and allow that momentum to build, then there won't be any question in your mind that you're on the right track. So we just have a question for you. Let's say that there's a news organization that has thousands of people that scour the earth for problems or conditions, and they synthesize them, and depending on how much airtime they have, that's really worth thinking about. They bring the most dramatized, get your attention stuff from all over the world and pipe it into your experience. So there they are, all out there, scavengers scurrying around and identifying conditions and documenting them for you and bringing them to you with pictures and music. Or you can tap in to your inner being and to infinite intelligence, who has broad view of all of that and access to what all of those involved have put into their vortex. In other words, you can go with the journalists and the television version that is right now steeped in the problem, still giving birth to the rockets of desire, or you can go right to the culmination of all of that desire and find vibrational alignment with that. In other words, you can be part of the problem or you can be part of the solution.
Correct.
And we want you to know that when you choose the solution over and over and over again, before you know it, you are in the vibrational vicinity of that vibration of well-being, and that's what you're interpreting.
I feel that way a lot.
I promise you, it will not be boring. That's where it's happening. This is the energy that puts Earth into orbit.
So I'm okay, and that feels good. I know it's the right way. The other way is absolutely not. Sometimes in meetings at work, there are things that are going on. It's in the media and the news, just stuff. I just don't know anything about it, and I sit there kind of ignorant about it. And I know that I can't sacrifice.
So we want to ask you, whose attention are you trying to get? Do you want to be part of the peanut gallery?
No.
Whose opinion do you want to resonate with? Do you want to resonate with the details of what's gone wrong? Or do you want to resonate with the solution? Do you want to look at where you are and where you've been? Or do you want to look to where you're going?
Yeah, okay.
Here's the most poignant, blunt question of all. Do you care about finding vibrational harmony with those or with these?
Okay, I'm good with that. Let me say this. I don't have a Jerry. I don't have a person that I get inspiration, and I call it universal fairies, which I've termed I got from Abraham. But I don't have that, what this young woman was talking about. Question is there, or I'd like to know if
well,
there's
you're all looking for love in all the wrong places. In other words, the greatest gift that Jerry ever gave to Esther was no longer being that sounding board.
No, I mean a non-physical
Oh, you don't
person.
Think you have that?
Oh, I know I have several, but I don't
why
have...
are you making this stuff up? In other words, it doesn't matter what you call it. Do you think you don't have an inner being? Do you think Abraham is not aware of what you're doing? Do you think infinite intelligence is not focused on you? Do you think all of those who have come before you are not aware of you? Do you think previous people that have held the position that you hold in your workplace, you think that the founding fathers of this nation are not aware of you? In other words, you think that the religious figures that have lived and walked this planet are not aware of you? You think you're alone out here when you are a
Not
focal
really.
point out here on the leading edge of non-physical, where all that is focused with you and interested deeply in what you're thinking about what's going on, because where you are and what you've carved up and what you've highlighted is important to all that is. And you've got a choice of feeling the resonance with that or not.
Yeah, and it feels good when I feel that.
Yes, it does.
And I do often.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
So if you're worried about what they're saying, there's something going on and you don't know much about it. And if anyone would notice that you don't know and might maybe even try to trip you up a little or quiz you a little bit about what you know, you could just say, been there, done that, doing something else now.
Yeah. And you know what? Normally they just leave me alone. They don't really quiz me about it. They're attracted to me for, I know what the energy of it is, just probably the little small residue which you've helped to move forward, of having been a consultant for a number of years and it's supposed to know everything. I'm just kind of letting that lay, but they really don't bother me about
Esther
it.
sat on the airplane yesterday with two women. They were together and Esther was on the row with them. And she'd met them in the terminal. They were talking briefly about where they were sitting. Esther went to sit down and one woman said, my friend is coming back there. And Esther said, I thought it felt like someone was supposed to be sitting here. And so she scooted down and that was all the conversation. And then when they got on the airplane, they all ended up sitting together, which Esther thought was interesting. Mm-hmm. How the universe had already queued them up for a sort of pre-conversation before. And so Esther's sitting there and she's got her pillow and she's decided that she is going to nap on this flight, but she can hear every word that they're saying. And they were involved in government and two of the most positive people Esther has ever eavesdropped on in her life. She tried not to grin as she was listening because she wanted to pretend like she wasn't involved in what they were saying. And one of the women said, you know, so-and-so, I like to call him the troublemaker or the conspiracy man because he believes that there's a conspiracy about everything. And she said, at first it was sort of hard, but she said, I really think he means well. And actually, he gets everybody sort of thinking, and he's given me greater reason to reach for the positive aspects. And she says, really, I think we're all better off for having him in the mix. And Esther is thinking, she did not hear them say one thing that indicated that they have been listening to Abraham. She didn't hear a familiar terminology. It didn't sound like they've been listening. And Esther felt such satisfaction that there are people in government. They were on their way to have an experience with high-level people and to realize that they were so in the solution-oriented phase of it made Esther feel that well-being was sprouting all over the planet.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yes. And then they went from the topic of their jobs, which was government, to the topic of their children, which was positive, to the topic of this and that and this and that. And Esther realized everything they communicated upon, and they were friends. In other words, they were not trying to impress each other with their positive emotion. Mm-hmm. They were people that had known each other for a long time, that's just how they roll, you see.
Yes. Yeah.
And so Esther just watched them. They were like a breath of fresh air. They like lighted up as they were walking through the terminal. Esther ran into them 5 different times in 5 different places. They were in the ladies' room together and they were at baggage claim together. And Esther thought, we've got these little badges. I'm one too. I'm one too. I'm one too. So nice to see.
Yes, I feel the momentum of everything
Yeah.
seeming to go really fast.
Really good.
Thank you.
Really good.